Hello, how is everyone doing? It is your fallen angel back with another video. Today, we are covering the concept of conditioning. So, previous videos we were also talking about the dark psychology of how persuasion, manipulation, and motivation all come together. Today we are going over conditioning specifically. Before we get started, like and subscribe. Also, check us out on Patreon, Rumble, Twitter, Instagram, things of that nature. And without further ado, let's just jump right in. So, it is very possible to train people to do what you want. You can motivate people by creating an unconditional response. This goes back to the Pavlovian conditioning that was just discussed. Basically, you want to make someone associate you with a reward. You don't always have to deliver this reward. You just need to create this sense of an association or anticipation in essence. The anticipation of it based on past rewards is sufficient to get people motivated enough. So as long as it was introduced originally, once or twice, you can use this to your advantage as far as conditioning goes. It just needs to be introduced at some point. This is how you get people motivated to do things and to condition them to reinforce certain behaviors. Pavlov discovered that his dogs would salivate even when they saw the lab assistant, who typically didn't bring food. They would also salivate whenever they saw Pavlov, regardless of whether or not he was bearing food. When he started experimenting with a bell, he learned that the dogs would salivate because they associated the sound of the bell with getting food. Presenting two stimulus close together in timing helped create these responses, or in other words, condition the dogs. So what we have to understand is this is a way of understanding the psychology of the brain, right? Understanding that the brain is wired for anticipation, whether this is a reward, whether this is food for survival, or for positive emotions for the limbic system. The neocortex is not going to discriminate either one, because these two will overpower. So when there's this ideology that a bell is in play, let's say the bell is being used for positive reinforcement. This is a way of anticipation. The animal or the human will think, because I hear this, there should be something that comes with it. There's an anticipation process that comes with it. This is part of conditioning. We want to set up this anticipation process. First, you want to reward someone handsomely for doing something for you. You may need to offer this reward a few times in order to make it a repetitive behavior and embed it in the subconscious to make the conditioning stick. Then you can basically set this on autopilot. Once a person associates you with a reward, they will have a pleasant association with you. So we just want to do this for a few times so we can definitely condition the brain to know what is coming next. Once this is how they think they understand you, right? The human brain or any animal brain, when it gets a certain amount of stimuli a certain amount of times, this repetitive behavior becomes conditioning, right? They use this as anticipation. They will anticipate the next move. They want to anticipate what's next, right? Whether it's positive or negative, they just want to anticipate. The brain wants to know. It wants to think it knows what's next. It wants to think it can predict what's next. That's what it truly is. That's what anticipation comes down to. The brain wanting to think it knows what will come next. They will be motivated to do things for you, even if you don't always have a reward to offer, also known as neutral stimulus. This ties into the idea that you want to make friends and get people to like you in order to get what you want. People who like you associate you in the most pleasurable feeling of being liked and being friends. They will want to do things for you and make you happy to keep you around. They will be more open to what you want as well. So, when you introduce these levels of conditioning and positive stimuli, they will do what it takes to keep you around. They will do things so that they can continue to feel this pleasurable feeling or this pleasurable reward, regardless on if you do it a bunch of times. As long as that reward's introduced a few times, even under neutral stimulus, they will still do it because they expect it. Their brain is expecting something positive to come out of it. And you could keep this going for as long as you could introduce a reward every 25% and the anticipation will still be there. You could introduce a reward every 75% and they will still be there. Regardless, there should be some sort of percentile where the reward is induced. And in our previous videos, guys, in this playlist, we explained that not everything has to be a physical reward. Affection, attention, and just acceptance are all forms of stimuli that you can use as positive reinforcement. Let's say you have a lazy team at office. You motivate them by offering a pizza party. Whenever they meet their deadlines or sales goals, people start to expect this pizza party or anticipate it. You don't always have to do it. They will just keep working hard for the chance that they will get a pizza. Every once in a while, keep the conditioning fresh by throwing the pizza party. This is why in many schools, they say, hey guys, every Friday we'll give you a pizza party if there's perfect attendance, or we'll give you pizza if everyone gets a good grade on this class. In Amazon warehouses, they have many days where they give out free food and pizza days as well. This is because they want to condition the brain to do positive things. They want to condition the brain to do positive things based on the stimuli, so they will reward you. This is how they can control you and reward good behavior. Let's revisit a previous example we said in the previous video about the unpopular guy at the office. Now that you befriended him and brought him into the office social circle, in reward for the favors that he does for you, you made him associate you with warmth and friendliness. He may even depend on you now, because when you're not around, no one likes him or talks to him. You're the only one who coaxes him out of his shell, and who makes people accept him. Therefore, he wants to stay in your good graces, because if he's not in your good graces, he will feel like an outcast. He may also feel indebted to you. He is basically now your slave. He will do what you want just because he feels so good because of you. This is also a power ploy that can be used, whether you recognize it or not. Everything in this cosmos is an exchange for pleasure and power. So we have to recognize how we can use this type of ideology, such as the social circle, as a way to, when you have this kind of power play, you can introduce stimuli every now and then now. You can even lower it from 25 to even 10% now, because it's not even needed to induce it so much, because this neutral stimuli you built up, this positive friendliness or warmth that he associates you with, it's going to stay there as long as you're continuing what you do. You can keep this conditioning going for as long as you may. So they will continue to do favors for you, continue to be in your good spirits as long as you can keep this conditioning going. The great thing about conditioning is that it can be subtle. However, you can train someone to expect something pleasurable when they do something without making it obvious. So we can do these things and make people conditioned and train them without making it seem like we're trying to train them or use psychology against them. It's just a subtle way of using positive emotions against them, using the limbic brain against their own self. You have a child who isn't earning good grades. One day, you get him ice cream after he pulls an A on the test. From then on, he only gets ice cream when he gets good grades. He will start to associate the great taste of his favorite Baskin-Robbins cone with earning A's. This will drive him to continue making good grades because he anticipates a Baskin-Robbins trip after he brings home a shining report card. So, same stimuli. Doesn't even have to be said. You don't have to tell the child, hey, you continue to get good grades, I'll buy you this. You just have to do it without saying it. The subconscious picks this up, and then this sweet-like taste, this dopamine spike they get. Wow, this felt really good. I really want to repeat this behavior. The subconscious will tell them, if I get another good grade, maybe I can do this again. The subconscious wants to feel these positive emotions again. It wants to feel this repetition. It wants anticipation. It understands anticipation more than we can even word it. The brain and subconscious understands anticipation. Earning A's will become a pleasurable activity for him because he knows that he gets ice cream when he earns them. The struggle of studying and tutoring no longer bothers him now, that he is motivated and has made a positive association between ice cream and doing well in school. So, you didn't even have to necessarily force anything upon him. You didn't have to say, hey, you have to do better. You have to study hard. You have to do it for yourself. Instead, all you had to do was, the one time he did do well, you associated some positive behavior behind it. Now, subconsciously, he wants to mimic this, to feel this again, right? This is like a dope fiend that wants to continuously chase a high, but instead it's called conditioning. Your significant other doesn't like to spend money on you, So when he or she finally does, you want to give him or her some of the best sex that you ever had. Suddenly, he or she feels extremely motivated to please you again. And this is how you get them under your loop or under your spell. You don't want to make him or her think that you only will give him or her good sex because you get something material. So you offer sex as an intermittent reward. So you use this type of ploy in a kind of sinister kind of way. You be cynical about it. You do it ever so often, not just because you got the reward, but you do it here and there, bits and pieces. This is how you keep a control over what you want. This is how you exchange pleasure and power. This is how many relationships work. Many men that have absolutely nothing are with women that have so much money. They have high paying jobs. They have so much, but they use this way of giving them the best sex after they get something as a ploy. And this is how many relationships go, whether this be man and woman or woman and man receiving the reward. This is how conditioning works. And they will continue to stay because they felt a positive emotion associated with this. Sometimes you do it just because, but this creates a very positive association between you and pleasure. He or she will be more conditioned to please you because you please them physically, because he or she knows that you will stay around and keep giving him or her great loving. This is how many people stay in very toxic relationships, because they end up enjoying the physical pleasure they associate it with. They condition this behavior, so they stay in such negative places or negative connotative relationships because of the great loving that comes with it. This is conditioning as well. You will get more affection and be spoiled more as a result. I know many men who do not even have a car who use this tactic against many women. I know many women who have never had a job who can swindle men out of so much money because they know how to use their bodies. This is also conditioning. You can condition anyone with positive emotions, whether this be physically, words, gifts. It can always be used as a ploy. You must understand this, because we are teaching this because we want to know. We not only want to teach you this because you can use this to your advantage, but you have to be wary of others doing this against you. So here's another aspect of conditioning that makes you more covert. You can become a neutral stimulus. A Pavlovian conditioning. A stimulus elicits a response. A neutral stimulus causes a response, even though that stimulus never offers a reward. As we've been mentioning in this entire video, you don't always have to offer a reward to get this external stimulus. You don't have to always do something to get that salivating type of response. Just once or twice, and then the anticipation will build up. So you can make people respond to your very presence, even if you don't directly do anything. You do this by creating associations in people's brains between you and some sort of reward. They will always be thinking of the positive emotions or the reward that comes with it, the byproduct of it. So they're constantly feeding off this anticipation. You want to make people feel positively towards you. So you want to strive to create a powerful association between you and good reward or good feeling or good physical feeling. Once you have established this link between you and a positive emotion, they will be so hooked to you because they are associating you with this positive behavior, and you don't have to always do it. Do whatever it is. You can create this sort of neutral stimulus where they just kind of anticipate something. Anticipation is the strongest thing in the human brain. They want to think they know what is next. That is anticipation at its full-fledged capacity. Here's a great example of how you can become a neutral stimulus and elicit the response that you desire. You have a lazy roommate who never wants to do the dishes. One day, he or she does the dishes. So you play a song that he or she really likes. As she does it, she will associate the great music with doing dishes. From now on, he or she will want to do dishes more. The minute you put on the song that he or she likes, preferably that same song that was played last time, but don't say anything along these lines. Don't even mention that you're doing this for a reason, because then you will elicit a negative response to it. It seems like you're being controlling. You just want to do it without saying anything. You have created a conditioned response in him or her. She responds to her favorite song by doing dishes. This is essentially like training someone, like a dog. When you put positive associations with any tasks, it makes people more inclined to do them. If you put music, positive words, motivation is how you make anticipation and condition people to do things. Reward-based things is how people want to do things. If it puts a smile on their face, they feel like the effort is worth it, right? Therefore, it is essential to just put positive things that they can associate in their head with this external stimuli. If they can associate this external stimuli with a positive response, they will do it. The limbic system wants to feel good. It is this crocodile brain is just no survival, feast, fight or flight. The limbic system wants to feel things good. It wants to associate to positive emotions. Positive emotions is repetition. Remember, the negative emotions, they do not want to repeat that. They don't want to go back into this loop. They want to repeat positive emotions. So guys, this was a short video explaining conditioning and all the ways that conditioning can be used on people, animals, yourself, and how people can use it against you. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Also, like and subscribe. Check us out on Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, things of that nature. Also, this is your fallen angel, and I am out.